This house I'm renting was built in 1905. It has working heat and air. It has a dishwasher. It has a plumbing. It has gas stove and a gas oven that are connected into one appliance. We have a coffee maker. We have a appliance that heats water. Yeah, yesterday I had some problems. My pants split at work, and I wasn't able to leave to go home to get new pants because I had to be at work. So I had to go the whole day with a split in my pants, and that was the worst of my problems, which is actually quite a bit better than dying slowly outside, and that is the lesson I learned from this game, Outdoor Survival. The game comes with 5 different scenarios you can play, and they have to do like being lost or searching for someone or rescuing someone, pursuing someone. Lots of different things you can do that involve being outdoors and surviving. In fact, the whole game feels somewhat customizable. You almost, while playing, it's really hard not to think, if only I could change the rules this way or customize it this way. And I think the game's open to that. I'm going to focus on the rules as written, however, and I'm only going to focus on one scenario, and that is the namesake scenario, survival, about surviving in the woods. If I may please draw your attention to the life level index chart, specifically the life level index. I think this is one of the greatest features of the game. Here you have the A state, which is the healthiest state a person can be. And we'll just move over so you can see all the states as the person becomes less and less survived until the point when they are not survived at all. The number in the lower right hand corner is how far the person moves. Great. So we're going to start the game by taking the A state because we start as survived as possible. And there we are in cabin number 9. Our job is to successfully survive as we make our way from cabin number 9 clear on over to the west side here. And I'll tell you how we do that. Each scenario has a directionability table. And so in order to move, you first have to roll a 6-sided die. And we get a 6. Based on the result of the die roll, you get to either roll randomly for which direction you move, start in any direction, but you can't turn, or you can turn once. Because of our fabulous roll of a 6, we can start in any direction and turn once, which is great. So we're going to move 6 spaces. We always have to move the full allotment of our health because we're go-getters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have to stop there because we don't have enough to get to this space. So this is a good space to get to. And the reason that's a good space to get to is because each scenario has necessities that you must meet, or else bad things will happen. The necessities are always food or water, but how you meet those necessities depends on what the scenario says. Survival is actually a fairly forgiving scenario in that the necessities, you just have to pass through the food or water space in order to meet those necessities. You don't have to land on them. The first scenario, Lost, you have to actually land on the space, which is difficult because you have no control over how many spaces you move, and oftentimes you don't have control over which direction you move. Now that we've moved, we have to check to see if we've met our necessities. Now the game comes with this handy survival guide. So one thing we need is water. So I turned it to obtaining water. I think you can see that. Yeah. And it says finding water in the wilderness is less a problem than purifying it. Water flows downhill, it causes vegetation. We're in a forest, so that should be no problem. Not only does vegetation indicate the nearness of water, it sometimes is a direct source. Rainwater may accumulate in the large leaves of plants and trees. Look also for water in natural basins. So those are things to consider. There are either water spaces or food spaces. Since we didn't get to either food or water spaces, we have to change our water and food index. So our water index goes down 1 and our food index is going to go down 1. Now we get to roll on the wilderness encounter chart. Now the basic game says you get to choose which column you roll under. There's also an optional rule that says you roll to see which column you roll under. I'm going to use that optional rule because I feel like the game's strong suit is it aims to be a simulation, and it's more simulative to have the column be out of your control because the world is not in your control. So we're going to roll and see what happens. First we're going to roll for the column we're going to follow. We got 1, so that's natural hazards. Luckily we have our book which will help us deal with these natural hazards. So let's look at some. So there's a really helpful page towards the back called Dealing with Natural Hazards. We're going to look at that and see if it can give us some tips to help with gameplay. Storms. Bad weather can be a catastrophe in the wilderness, and weather considerations will naturally play a crucial part when anyone lost or stranded. Well, we know this. Okay, it's gonna impact us. Clouds provide the most accurate signpost for wilderness weather forecasting. Okay, so we'll look for clouds, and that will help us know to take cover if a storm will come. Let's skip down to forest fires. In the woods, fire danger can be detected by the following signs. The air is dry and hot, often with a strong odor of pine pitch. Okay. Grass and dead leaves underfoot crackle as you walk. The bark peels off some trees in dry, brittle sheets. The sky is a hot, brassy blue. The voices of animals and birds are muted or silent. The soil is dry and often hard. Anyone who finds himself in such a place should get out of it as fast as possible. When there is smoke in the air and animals are running and birds flying all in one direction, he should dash for a river, lake, or wide open space of considerable extent. All right, after obtaining our advice, we can roll to see what happens. 6, nothing happens. Way to go. So on our next turn, we rolled a 1 on our direction ability chart. So close to the water and food. Hopefully we'll get lucky on our random direction so that we can pass through. We're looking for 4 here, people. Let's go. Pachow! And that's a 6. So if we look there, 6 tells us we're going upward and left. So we have to go 1, 2, 3. And I think, yeah, the mountains cost 3 movements, so we can get through there. 4, 5, 6. As we again did not meet our necessities of water and food, we have to move our indexes down. So, 1 life level. What that means is we go down to our life level index and we're going to take B and we're going to replace A with B. Now our movement is 5 and A goes down here. And that's basically how the game works. You roll to see how you can move. You then move. If you didn't meet your necessities, you adjust your life level index. When you lose life levels, sometimes you lose multiple life levels. You change your player piece with the lower pieces on the thing. Then you roll on the wilderness encounter table. Most of these are bad for you. There's a few good ones in the personal thing because of personal ingenuity. You do really well then. There are 2 ways one could appreciate outdoor survival, or at least I could appreciate outdoor survival. The first way is could take it as a ground right for customization. There you can make scenarios, you can add rules, they even suggest something to do with a sniper in the rule book. I remember. The way I probably will actually end up appreciating it though is as what it is, and What it is a simulation in what it's like to die slowly, what it's like to be at the mercy of forces that are beyond your control, that are unfeeling, I imagine, uncaring about you, the player, the person who's out in the outdoors trying to breathe just a little bit longer. And when I'm feeling like something of a Luddite, like I'm tired of cars and cell phones are really annoying, how people don't seem to be there when you're with them, and perfume stinks and all that, I can pull this game out and I can kind of feel a little bit what it might be like to have the alternative.